Hi everyone, Makeup Squid here. I want to talk to you guys today about makeup brushes. What their uses are, the different shapes and sizes, and what that all means. And I have my lovely assistant Jamie here with me today. I'm going to let Jamie put makeup on the way that she normally would. And what I'm going to do is critique her and show her the proper way to use a certain brush. Any eye look that you're doing, you first would want to create a base. That's the one that's going to kind of go pretty much all over your lid. Jamie chose a fluffy blending brush. Now this is a good brush. I guess if you want, you could use this to put your color all over, but it'll be very translucent. It won't be a solid color. To me, with her skin color, I can see right through that color. What I'm seeing right now is that the color is on her eye, but it's very translucent. I can't even notice that it's a color. Now what I'm going to give to Jamie to use, a flat brush, this type, where it's very thin and squared. These brushes are very good for applying color pretty much all over your eyelid. Okay. Now, as you can see, Jamie is swiping it on her eye. Okay. And that's good for, once again, if you want a translucent look. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get that same color with the same brush. And I'm not going to rub it on my product. I'm not going to smash it into my product. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pat it. Just the way I'm going to do on her eye. I'm going to give that a couple pats, tap it off. And I'm just going to pat that all over her eyelid. All the way up. Just patting lightly. Another thing I would like to share with you guys is don't use your brushes very hard. Don't push your brush into your face. Don't do this. That's going to hurt. Don't do anything where you have to indent your skin. If you're indenting your skin, that's wrong. You just want to gently apply it without even barely moving the eyelid or any part of your face for that matter. Just pat it in there, just like that. Jamie chose a very dense brush. This, I believe, is a synthetic brush, and it's very it's movable, but yet it's stiff. So in a way, it is good for applying that color, and it is smaller. Now, she used this brush to go all over, okay? But look at the difference in the size of these brushes. You know, it's like a larger one than a smaller one. You know, our eyes are small areas. If you're going to use big brushes, you're going to get a very muddy, all-together look. You know, your colors are going to blend, but they're going to blend too much. There's not going to be no distinction between the new color and the previous color. So you do want to go with a smaller brush when you're working with a smaller area. Use the same type of brush, but I would go even smaller. I would go even smaller than the brush that she chose, because you want that intensity in that area. I'm going to go right on top of what Jamie did. Now look at, you can already see the intensity of the color on the brush. Okay. Now you see how that pops, how you can just see it. Jamie is going to work on her crease, and she's going to pick out a brush to work on her crease with. Jamie chose to work with, it's a small crease brush. You know what? I don't even know. This is Essence of Beauty. brand. I believe it's a drugstore brand, which it is a definitely good brush. I've had this in my collection for years and I still use it. This is a good brush for what she wants to do. Another thing I wanted to share with you guys is when you're dipping your brush into your product, don't swirl it around or smear it around like paint. Just dab. Just dab it into there. Just very simply just dab. And just pick the brush. The brush is made to collect color. So it'll do the work for you. You don't have to do all that. All you need to do is just tap in there and you'll get more than enough. Another thing is don't go overboard right away. It's always good to add on top. It's hard to take away and very easy to add. So work lightly. You know, it may take some time, but as you go, it'll get easier. We see what Jamie has done here, and it's lovely. I love it. I know I love it. It makes me happy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the brush that Jamie chose. Or you know what? I'm going to go with the next guy down from that. He's a little bit more more firm. It's not so loose of a brush. Now, as you can see, with the smaller brush that I used, I was able to get more color, and I'm able to feather it out a little bit more and shape it for the look that I'm going for. See, I can take it all the way up here. And as I go, if I keep repeating that process, the color will intensify and it'll become really bold. And you're able to get into the small areas where you don't really want them to blend. You don't really want them to become one. You want them to blend at a certain point, but overall, you want them to stay in their area. You want to know that it's going from this blue purplish color into this powder blue. You want to see that. You want to know that. A smaller, more dense brush. You know, it has some movements, but it still has that nice denseness to really pack on color. So brushes intensify your color, while softer brushes loosen it. That's why you never really see any dense blush brushes, because you want your blush, you want it to look natural. You want it to look translucent, where you can actually see yourself through the product. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to blend out Jamie's area, and I'm using a fluffy crease brush. Now this brush, if I hold it down like this, you see that? Look what the brush is doing. It's becoming flat and it's widening. But if I just stay at this point with it, the brush is doing its natural thing. It's on its own thing, and I'm just very lightly touching that. Not even barely, you know, I'm not even barely touching anything. And it's just really lightly just on my surface. So don't stay away from this. Doing this is only going to flatten out your brush and give you a muddy look. That's what I do. I know. So let's go real lightly. Turn it more. And it's very important that, you know, you go up. Instead of bringing everything down, go up sometimes. Go up, you know, to switch things up a bit. Give it more of that gradient feel. You know, let the two colors become one at a certain point, and then they spread off into their respective areas. Now I'm just going to go here just to, for her brow line not to be so harsh, and I'm just feathering it out very lightly. You know, let your brush work for you. You know, that's what they're there for. Okay. Now you see we have it's like a gradient of color on your eye. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a third color to Jamie's eye. And I'm going to go with this. It's a really grapey color. And I'm just going to pat into that. And what I'm using is I'm using this, it's a defining eye brush. Now these are excellent. These, what I like about them is if you're working in, let's say, your brow area and you want to go into your inner eye, if you keep the brush angled, it'll just automatically fall right in there in a nice thin shape. I'm going to demonstrate that now on Jamie. Now we're just going to go from here, and it's just going to fall in there. And we didn't lose our shape, and we're keeping that nice line. And there you go. Now you see how when I was here, the brush was flat in its natural state. And then when I went here, it just automatically followed me into that area. And this is an excellent brush for doing that type of work, because the brush works so easy and it works with you, and it just falls into place. That is that on eye brushes. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish up Jamie's look, and we'll be right back. And we're back, and this is Jamie. Jamie now has 2 eyes done. I just want to let you guys all know that Jamie does not wear her makeup like this. Jamie does not like her makeup like this. She just did that for you guys to actually see the colors of what was going on.
Thank you for your time.
No, come here. I want to thank my girl for being my little victim tonight and showing you guys pretty much a good general idea, get you off on the right foot about brushes. I want to thank you all for visiting my channel. Please don't forget to rate, to comment, and subscribe. Once again, thanks for watching.